Kyle here from allmusic.blogspot.com. Apologies for not putting a video out yesterday, and like I said in the last video, Marillion video, I'm not going to do one every day, but I meant to do one every Monday, so I don't know, the whole Marillion Monday ring to it. So, and the thing that happened, part of the reason why I didn't do a video yesterday on Monday was because having trouble tracking down my copy of the record I was going to talk about. So I just shifted gears quickly and went after another one, but I'm trying to sort of re-listen and refresh my memory about everything about these records before talking about this one. I did not, but I do know it pretty well. But anyway, it is in fact going to be about their 8th studio album, 1995's Afraid of Sunlight. This is the 98 or 99 remaster, which is only like 4 years after, but you can see the track list, trying to get the glare off of here. Anyway, there's a standard track list, and it has a lot of the extra demos and stuff like that. And then I have, well, here's the CDs, I guess. I'll just do some physical copy showing right now. There's a thanks to John Helmer, who I know wrote the lyrics. I want to say he wrote some of the lyrics in Brave too, possibly. But this album and EMI Records. This album, and he may have done some of the lyrics for like Marbles. They worked with him a bunch of times. I can't remember how many times they did, but I mean, Hogarth H does write a lot of the lyrics, but I don't know if some of the other members occasionally write lyrics, but they're not the only. It's a little bit like Renaissance in that sense. They've had other people write lyrics after Fish left. When Fish was in the band, if I'm not mistaken, Fish wrote all the lyrics, because he was almost known more for the lyrics than the music or vocal melodies he came up with in his son as a singer. And then I have the beautiful single, beautiful being, and I don't know how many singles they released on this album, but it was one of a couple of them. I guess it doesn't have much of an insert, unfortunately, which has Afraid of Sunrise as a song called Icon. And again, I'm guilty because I don't even know how many times I've actually listened to this, maybe once. But I found it, and I paid $1 for it at Cheapo back in 2010. And then here's my original compact disc copy. The booklets, I'm still trying to hunt down the booklets for a lot of my Marillion CDs that aren't in the actual jewel cases. But this is actually a promo. So talking, and it's interesting. It says El Dorado. I don't know if when they wrote El Dorado and titled that epic on Fear, that was a reference to that. Maybe I always think of like El Dorado like a western kind of thing, the western part of the United States, westerns, that kind of thing. El Dorado, but I am not putting this in correctly. But yeah, this was a promo. And I remember when I got this. I remember pretty distinctly when I first got into the band. This album, this CD. When I was looking for the CDs, I think I went to Cheapo in '95 or maybe '96. It was released June 24th. So yeah, I mean, wow, it was like it was literally released not that long after I discovered them and was looking for their music. I don't remember when it was I saw it, but I remember thinking, well, the phrase "afraid of sunlight" sounds like it's some vampire or something who doesn't want to go out during the day, because the myth, the story in, with vampires and stuff. I remember seeing someone taking that interpretation of it. Here's the booklet. Yeah, this picture, which I have a bootleg copy of Hogarth in the same position on the back of a video or something. It's got like bat wings, Anyway, vampires don't go out in the daylight because they're afraid of the sunlight, of course. But I think it's more metaphorical about being afraid of being celebrity. I don't know if, it was the aftermath of Brave, and like I talked about Radiation and Holidays in the Evening, it was sort of the lesser It was recorded, let's see, January through March '95. The lesser regarded of the sort of double back-to-back albums, and it was rushed. So I was thinking about when they ended their contract with EMI in the other video. This is the last album they did with EMI, and I think it was basically, you guys got to get out an album after they did Brave. So literally, because Brave came out, I'm pretty sure the fall of '94. If this was recorded in January through March of '95 and then released in June of '95, it was literally like 9 months after Brave. They were being pressured by the label, and the label wanted to drop them, say, well, to fulfill your contract, you have one more record. Let's see. I'm pretty sure Brave came out the fall of '94 because they spent a lot of time working on it. No, I'm wrong about that. I thought it was so it was February '94. Well. Anyway, I remember reading some stuff or hearing some stuff about this record being, and why it's never been treated or regarded as highly as Brave. And, again, I'm not spoiling my rankings, but it's a record that myself and many people have loved and grown to love more throughout the years. So I do have the vinyl too. Here it is. And I'll get into the track list in just a minute. This isn't a gatefold. I got this from the official page. It's just 180 gram, as you can see. And I've grown to like this album more and more. Oh, that's just a cover there. And I think part of it is why I have it. It's not Brave Part 2. Well, I'll get into Brave eventually. They wanted to do something more song-oriented, although it's still very progressive. Yeah, here, that's just your jacket. You just got the little black spot in. I mean, there might be a version that's a gatefold that I don't have. I think that's just all I got with the vinyl, just that little cover there. And anyway, but so the standard track list. I mean, my favorite tracks would definitely be the closing track, King, and the track Afraid of Sunlight, the title track. That song is just epic. The way it sort of builds and the climax is wonderful. King is almost similar in some sense, but it's more busy. And the ending, it sounds like Ian Mosley is channeling his inner Neil Peart. I've said many times. Let's listen to that more and more. But that song's referring to like the King of rock and roll, like Elvis, talking about the Beatles, talking about these different celebrities and fame. But, Gazpacho, the opening track, I'll never not think of the soup or the food or whatever, but it has a very catchy, memorable chorus, and the dynamics are great. Cannibal Surf Babe, that one was sort of a red herring at first. I'd often skip that. I didn't like it, but I grew to really like that. And I always think about the line, Mr. Wilson, where's your sandbox and your beer? Is he talking about Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace, or is he talking about Brian Wilson? Because it has a Beach Boys, being on the beach, Beach Boys element. I think it's Brian Wilson, but which is funny because there's also a song by King's X called Mr. Wilson, which I've always wondered that as well about that song. When I do King's X videos at some point, maybe again, I'll have to bring that up on their album Faith, Hope, Love. But Beautiful is a beautiful ballad. It's one of the best ballads they did they've done with Hogarth. Out of This World and Beyond You are both sort of mood pieces, but still very good. And so is Afraid of Sunrise. So I don't like latch onto those tracks as much, but they're still good songs. They fit the kind of flow of the record. And the record, I guess, compared in some ways to Brave, is less is more because it's not as deep, but it still is very layered, very textured, and very... there's a lot to hear on it, but it's still more song-oriented. Brave is really a big concept. So just by comparing to Brave, compared to some of their other records, I think some of the other records are longer, for better or for worse. This record, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like 40 minutes long or whatever, so... and I've just grown to love it more and more. It's become one of my favorites. I'm not, again, going to tell where it's ranked yet, but Afraid of Sunlight, the last record they put on EMI, I think it also sort of supplanted them as a band with Hogarth because they did Season's End and Holidays in Eden, and you kind of was on the tail end and sort of the reflection of what they were trying to do. They had done with Fish, what they're trying to do. They want to still be Marillion. They're keeping the Marillion name, but they don't want to sound exactly like they used to sound. They're quote unquote progressing. But then with Brave, they were just kind of going off the deep end. And I think with this record, it's like, well, we're not going too far, but we're going far enough where you can't really accuse us of trying to basically rewrite the albums from the 80s. I think the kind of plan is like, this is our new singer, Steve Hogarth. He's a full part of the band. We really appreciate what he's doing. It really works with him. And, going forward. Now, some people feel, I know people that kind of think this is the last record they loved from Marillion, and they kind of jump ship. They've listened to some of this. Some people feel that in the whole canon and history and the story arc of Marillion's catalog, I'm not really of that belief, but I can sort of understand it. At least the people that like this didn't completely disband their interest when Fish left, or they listened to Season's End, that was it. So they were still on board. But I contend that while this is a great record, I'd call it a masterpiece in a lot of respects, it's not the last thing that they did that was just breathtaking and sort of has stood the test of time. So, but yeah, Afraid of Sunlight, 1985, now is whatever, 26 years old. Definitely one of my favorite Marillion albums, and I'm glad to talk about it again. So, but thank you for watching. Give it a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.